For 23 years on the federal bench, my job came down to one thing: deciding who could be trusted. I sat in judgment of thousands of people, and I learned that you almost never catch a dishonest person in a single dramatic lie. You catch them in 5 quiet signs, small things an honest person rarely shows, and an untrustworthy one almost always does. I am 87. Let me teach you to see them so no one can ever fool you again. Let me first tell you what trustworthiness is not. It is not charm. It is not confidence. It is not even kindness on its own. Because the most dangerous people I ever sentenced were charming, confident, and kind in exactly the moments it served them. Trust is not about how a person makes you feel. It is about the consistency between who they are when it costs them nothing and who they are when it costs them something. That gap between the easy moment and the hard one is where you find out everything. Here are the 5 places it shows. The first sign: they are a different person with different people. Watch someone across several situations. How do they speak to a powerful person and then to a powerless one? How do they behave with the people they want to impress versus the people they think don't matter? An honest person is fundamentally the same in every room. Their core does not shift with the audience. But the untrustworthy person is a different creature depending on who is watching. Gracious to your face, cutting behind your back. Humble with the boss, arrogant with the waiter. One set of opinions in this group, the opposite set in that one. In my courtroom, I watched this constantly. A defendant would be respectful and soft-spoken to me. I held their fate. Then I would watch them turn to a clerk or a family member and become someone else entirely, hard and dismissive. The mask they wore for me was the lie. The face they showed the powerless was the truth. So do not judge a person only by how they treat you. Watch how they treat people who can do nothing for them, and watch whether they are the same person when they think no important eyes are on them. A person who changes their character to match their audience has no fixed character to trust. They will be loyal to you exactly as long as you are useful, and become someone else entirely the moment you are not. Consistency is the foundation of trust. A person who is the same in every room can be relied upon. A person who changes with the audience cannot. Watch them across rooms before you trust them in any of them. The second sign: they tell you who they are early and then act surprised when you believe them. There is an old truth I learned on the bench. People will warn you about themselves, usually near the very beginning. I'm not really a good person. I can be selfish. I always look out for myself first. People say I'm difficult. They say it lightly, almost as a joke, and we make the great mistake of brushing it aside because we are charmed, or because they followed it with something flattering. Listen to me carefully. When a person tells you something unflattering about themselves, believe them completely. It is the single most honest thing they may ever say to you, and it is almost always true. The man who tells you early that he is selfish is not being modest. He is confessing and giving you a chance to protect yourself that you will later wish you had taken. I sat across from countless people whose victims said the same thing afterward. He told me what he was. He told me right at the start. I just didn't think he meant it. They meant it. They always mean it. So when someone shows you a piece of their true character, a cruelty, a dishonesty, a selfishness, even once, even disguised as a joke, do not explain it away. Write it down in your mind. That was not the exception. That was the preview. When someone shows you who they are, even once, even as a joke, believe them the first time. The cruelty you witnessed was not a slip. It was a sample. People rarely hide their true nature as well as you wish they would. Pay attention the first time they show it. The third sign: In all their stories, they are never at fault, and nothing is ever their own doing. Listen carefully to the way a person tells you about their past, their old jobs, their failed relationships, their conflicts and misfortunes. In whose stories is the person telling them always the innocent victim and always someone else the villain? This is one of the most reliable signs I know. Every honest person telling the true story of their life will at some point say, "That one was my fault. I handled that badly. I was wrong about him." Because no honest life is without honest mistakes, and an honest person owns them. But the untrustworthy person's history is strangely spotless in their own telling. Every ex-spouse was crazy. Every former employer was unfair. Every friendship that ended was the other person's betrayal. They have moved through life leaving a trail of villains behind them, and never once been the villain in a single story. Now think about what that actually means. It means one of two things. Either the entire world has conspired against this one innocent soul, which is impossible, or they are simply unable to ever see themselves as the one at fault. And a person who cannot admit fault cannot be trusted, because the day they wrong you, you will become just one more villain in their endless collection, and they will believe it completely. Listen for the person who is never at fault in their own stories. The honest say, "That was my mistake." The untrustworthy leave a trail of villains and never once are one. The day they wrong you, you simply join the collection. The fourth sign, they test your boundaries with small things first. An untrustworthy person rarely begins with a large betrayal. They begin with something small, a minor broken promise, a little lie that doesn't quite matter, a small favor they don't return, a confidence they share that they should have kept, and then they watch you. They are not careless, they are testing. What they are testing is how much they can get away with. If you let the small things slide, if you make an excuse for the little lie, forgive the minor broken promise without a word, you have just taught them that your boundaries are soft and that there will be no real cost to crossing them. So next time they cross a slightly larger one, and you let that go too. And so it escalates, one small permission at a time, until one day they do something genuinely harmful, and you wonder how it ever got this far. It got this far because they tested you at the very beginning, and you passed their test by saying nothing. The trustworthy person does not test you because they are not looking for the edges of what they can get away with. They simply treat you well. But when you catch someone testing you with a small dishonesty, respond to the small one clearly and immediately, not with anger, with clarity. Let them see early that your boundaries are real. The ones who respect you will respect the line. The ones who were testing will move on to easier prey. When someone crosses a small line, name it calmly, immediately. The small test decides how they treat you forever after. Pass it by speaking up, and the untrustworthy go find someone softer. Stay silent, and you have invited the larger betrayal. And the fifth sign, the most useful of all once you learn to see it. Their warmth runs exactly on the schedule of their need. Pay close attention to the timing of a person's charm. Is it steady, the same whether they want something from you or not? Or does it appear suddenly and brightly, precisely when they need a favor, and then cool just as suddenly once they have it? This is the signature of the user, and once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. They are distant for months, and then suddenly, the warm phone call, the flattery, the sudden deep interest in your life, and somewhere in that warmth, a request appears. Then, once the request is granted, the warmth recedes like a tide until the next time they need something. An honest person's regard for you does not fluctuate with their needs. They are glad to see you when they want nothing at all. but the untrustworthy person's affection is not affection. It is currency, spent only to purchase what they are after. Here is the test I use, and I give it to you freely. Watch how a person treats you in a season when you have nothing they need and they have no use for you at all. That, not their charm when they want something, is the true measure of what you are worth to them. The one who is warm to you when you are no use to them is the one you can trust. The one whose warmth arrives only with a request has told you exactly what you are to them. Not a person, but a resource. Watch whether a person's warmth is steady or arrives only with a request. The trustworthy are glad to see you when they need nothing. The user's affection is currency, spent only to buy what they want. Judge them by the seasons when you are no use to them. 5 quiet signs. They are different with different people. They confess their nature early, then act surprised when you believe it. They are never at fault in their own stories. They test your boundaries with small things, and their warmth runs on the schedule of their need. Notice the thread. Not one of these is a single dramatic lie you could catch in a moment. Each is a pattern, revealed only over time to a person patient enough to watch. The untrustworthy count on you not watching. They count on your good heart explaining away each sign as it appears. Stop explaining them away. Start counting them up. Now let me give you the one question that sits beneath all 5. The question I learned to ask after 23 years of judging human beings. When you are deciding whether to trust someone, do not ask, do I like them? Liking is easily manufactured. The untrustworthy are often the most likable people in the room. Ask instead, what does this person do when being good costs them something? That is the only question that matters. Anyone can be honest when honesty is free. Anyone can be kind when kindness is convenient. Character is not what a person does in the easy moment. It is what they do in the hard one, when the truth would embarrass them, when loyalty would cost them, when doing right means losing something they want. Watch a person in that exact moment, and they will show you completely whether they can be trusted. I have watched thousands of people meet that moment. Most of what I know about human beings, I learned by watching what they did when being good was expensive. Watch for that. It tells you everything the charm is trying to hide. This skill has protected me for a lifetime, on the bench and off it, and it is needed most in old age, when there is no shortage of people who would deceive an elderly man if he let them. It is not about becoming suspicious of everyone. It is the opposite. When you can see clearly who cannot be trusted, you are finally free to trust the right people completely, without fear and without naivety. Watch what a person does when being good costs them something. That single question will reveal everyone. It took me 23 years to learn it. I have just given it to you. Use it wisely.